The passing of Rev Jesse Jackson marks the end of an era in American civil rights and political activism. Imagine a voice that echoed from the streets of the segregated South to the halls of presidential campaigns, pushing for equality when the odds seemed insurmountable. Today, that voice is silent. On February 17, 2026, the family of Rev Jesse Jackson announced that he had died peacefully at his home in Chicago, surrounded by loved ones. He was 84 years old. Reports indicate he had been managing a progressive neurological condition known as progressive supranuclear palsy, PSP, for over a decade, a rare disorder that affects movement, balance, and other functions, initially diagnosed as Parkinson's disease in 2017 before a more precise identification later on. His family described him as a dedicated servant leader who worked tirelessly for justice, equality, and those often left behind. Jesse Louis Jackson was born on October 8, 1941, in Greenville, South Carolina, during the height of Jim Crow segregation. Growing up in a divided society, he attended segregated schools and faced barriers that shaped his early drive for change. As a college student at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical College, he became involved in protests, including efforts to integrate public spaces like libraries. He later joined the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and worked closely with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., participating in major campaigns such as the Selma Marches. He was present in Memphis on the day Dr. King was assassinated in 1968, an event that profoundly influenced his path forward. In the years that followed, Jackson founded Operation Push in 1971 to focus on economic empowerment and job opportunities for Black communities and other underserved groups. He later established the National Rainbow Coalition, which merged with Push in 1996 to form the Rainbow Push Coalition. This organization advocated for broader civil rights, including economic justice, voting access, and inclusion across racial, class, and gender lines. Jackson emphasized building coalitions and using moral persuasion to challenge corporations and institutions for fairer practices, efforts that created tangible opportunities in employment and community development. Politically, he made history by running for the Democratic presidential nomination in 1984 and 1988. These campaigns were groundbreaking. He garnered millions of votes, won multiple primaries and caucuses, and highlighted issues like poverty, racial equality, and international fairness on a national stage. While he did not secure the nomination, his runs demonstrated the potential for diverse voices in high-level politics and influenced subsequent campaigns focused on inclusion. Beyond domestic work, Jackson engaged in international diplomacy, helping negotiate the release of detainees in places like Syria, Cuba, Iraq, and other regions during the 1980s and 1990s. He served as a special envoy to Africa under President Bill Clinton and advocated for global human rights causes. He also spoke out on issues like LGBTQ rights early on, becoming one of the first to address them prominently at a major party convention. Jackson's life included challenges and controversies, such as public apologies for past remarks and personal matters that drew scrutiny. Yet he remained a persistent advocate, continuing to mobilize on voting rights and social justice into his later years, even as health issues limited his activity. He stepped down from leading Rainbow Push in 2023 due to declining health. What happened? A pioneering figure in American activism and politics passed away after a long battle with a serious neurological illness. Why it matters? Jackson bridged the civil rights era of the 1960s with ongoing struggles for equity. His work helped expand economic opportunities, political representation, and public awareness of marginalized voices. His presidential bids showed that barriers could be challenged at the highest levels, inspiring later generations of leaders and activists. Who benefits? Communities that gain from his economic advocacy, organizations like Rainbow Push that carry forward his mission, and broader movements for justice that draw on his coalition-building model. Future advocates inherit a roadmap for persistent, inclusive change. Who loses? Those who relied on his moral leadership and direct involvement in causes, as well as a nation that loses a direct link to the transformative period of mid-20th century civil rights. Global impact. Jackson's international efforts highlighted America's role in human rights diplomacy and underscored connections between domestic inequality and worldwide justice issues. U.S. strategic implications. His legacy reinforces the importance of addressing internal divisions, racial, economic, and social, for national strength and credibility abroad. In a time of ongoing debates over equality and democracy, his example serves as a reminder of the power of nonviolent advocacy and coalition work in sustaining democratic institutions. Looking ahead, Uncertainties remain about how his organizations and causes will evolve without his personal presence. Some may see renewed energy in continuing his work, while others worry about momentum in an era of shifting priorities. No one can predict exact outcomes, but history suggests that impactful leaders often spark lasting institutional changes that outlive them. Jackson's story is one of resilience, bold vision, and unwavering commitment to fairness. It prompts reflection on progress made and work still needed in building a more equitable society. What are your thoughts on his legacy, or how do you see his influence continuing today? Share in the comments below. We'd value hearing different perspectives.